Hello there. Thank you for visiting my website again, my YouTube channel. If this is the first time you're visiting me, thank you. Please click the subscribe button, click the like, share, refer to your friends, family, colleagues. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always believing in me and always coming back to me for information concerning Agile and Scrum. My name is John Bosco, but my friends do call me JB, so feel free to call me JB if that is what you feel comfortable to call me. I am a Scrum Master and Agile coach and consultant. I will be helping you, walking you through Agile Scrum from the 0 level to the advanced level. Please feel free to take a look at other of my contents, and then I believe you will enjoy it. All right. Today, we'll be doing a little bit different thing from what we've been doing before in terms of using some videos to be able to elaborate more on some concepts or some ideas. But for today, what I will be sharing with you is about the concept of Scrum, its original idea, which is a sport concept, right? It appears that what we do in Scrum is kind of related to the sports or game of Rugby. So, I mean, I will try as much as I can to give you that historical or some historical fact about how Scrum and how the Rugby Scrum are related. All right, with that said, I'm going to share my screen and then I'm going to walk us through on that information. Okay, so if you look at this, you see how I try to use this image to depict Rugby team who are kind of, clamped together. And it really shows a lot of things when it comes to Scrum team, because in Scrum, it's all about we rather than I. In Scrum, it's about team formation rather than individual development. So Scrum, the game of sports. For today, I'm going to explain to you this original concept of Scrum, how it kind of emanates from this idea of scrummage, right? So I'm going to explain that in detail. Then we're going to look at Haka ceremony of the All Blacks Rugby team and lessons, Scrum in Rugby, a demonstration, and the lessons from the Haka ceremony. All right, some people might be asking, what is Scrum actually? I mean, Scrum, is it an English word? What is its original and its history behind that word Scrum? I'm not asking the development or how Scrum was, formed by Ken Schwaber and Mike and Jeff Sunderland at Utah. So what we're going to look at is the concept itself, the concept Scrum, that word Scrum. How does it originate? I realized that in my research, in my experience as a Scrum Master, Scrum is an abbreviation of scrummage. So it is either you hear scrummage, scrumming, or scrimmage. Whichever one you hear, it is all the same. But Scrum, as Scrum, it is not a full word. It's just an abbreviation of scrummage, right? And this idea of Scrum originates from the concept or from the sport of Rugby, right? And how does it work in Rugby? In the game of Rugby, when there is a violation of any of the rules and the game is going to be restarted, so the restarting of the game is what is called scrumming, right? In Scrum, as in Agile, right, at the end of every iteration, at the end of each sprint, the team will go back again and restart another sprint. So do you see how close related that idea is borrowed from the Rugby Scrum and then translated to the Agile Scrum, right? So during the game, 8 players from each team tightly huddle guards down in 3 rows. The primary goal is to gain possession of the ball, which is placed into the opening between the 2 opposing frontline team members. I'm not a professional in Rugby, So what I try to organize is just an idea of what happens in a rugby game. I'm going to play a video right after this so that you can really understand with me how the rugby game is played and how the idea of Scrum is kind of borrowed in order to, apply that to that of Agile Scrum. All right. And then one thing I need to give us a heads up is in the game of rugby, there is always a referee, right? Someone who is there to let the players know when they are on course and when they are off course in terms of when they are still within the parameter of the rugby rules of the game and when they are violating the rules of the rugby game. And then if you have to link it to Scrum as an agile, there is always who is called a Scrum Master who is there to keep the team in check. The Scrum Master is not an administrator, is not an authority per se, but he is someone who is there to serve the team. His purpose there is to make sure that the Scrum team uses the right Scrum process. They follow the right Scrum process. So, which is in line again with what a rugby referee does in the sport. Okay, so we're going to demonstrate how the Scrum is being done in rugby.
Rugby Union, Scrums. Hello and welcome to Video Jug. Rugby is a game enjoyed by millions of people around the globe. We've joined up with National League One rugby club Esher at one of their pre-season training sessions to bring you everything you need to know to play like a true professional. The scrum is arguably the most iconic image in rugby. The two teams' forwards crunch together in a brutal battle of might. The winning team gains vital possession of the ball. There are several scrums per game. How the scrum is formed and which players take part is bound by extremely strict guidelines. These are specialist positions, and one wrong move could result in a snapped spine. Here's how it's done. Positions. The hooker and two props bind together, arms linked like this. This is called the front row. Following that, the two locks bind, get down on one knee and put their heads between the prop and the hooker, resting their shoulders underneath the buttocks. This is known as the second row. Behind them is the number 8, and the two flankers hang off the sides. Engaging. You'll typically hear the ref say the words crouch, hold, touch, engage when a scrum takes place. This is a guide so both teams do the same thing at the same time. Teams then interlock so that no two teammates' heads are next to each other. This is where the push is gentle, the scrum is held steady. Ball in. The scrum half for the team that was awarded the scrum feeds the ball into the tunnel, dead straight so neither team has an unfair advantage. Pro tip. Make the hooker control when the ball gets put in. A subtle tap of the hand to signal to the scrum half will do. If the ball goes in before the hooker's ready, the scrum is as good as lost. No one's allowed to raise their feet ready to hook it back until the ball has left the scrum half's hands. At this point, the hookers both attempt to hook it back to their teammates. Props are responsible for keeping the ball within the scrum, all the while driving the opposing team back. By now, the scrum half has made his way round to the back of the scrum, so when it pops out, he can feed it away to the backs. Foul play. Collapsing the scrum or lifting the opponent is extremely dangerous, so expect refs to come down hard if anyone's doing it deliberately. If the ball comes out the sides of the scrum at any point, the ref will order it to be put back in again. That's it. Simple, isn't it?
Okay, so if you really follow through with that, clip, there are things I wanted to draw your attention to in terms of the activity that was happening there. There are 3 activities which you would identify is the position, the engaging, and the balling. Apart from these 3 activities, then you kind of move to the referee that tries to identify fouls that the players kind of fall into. So in terms of the activities, the position, the engaging, and the balling, it kind of translates to the ceremonies that we have in Scrum. For example, we have the sprint planning, we have the daily stand-up, and then we have the review, sprint review. So as soon as the sprint starts, the team members kind of really get engaged in terms of executing the sprint, right? Now, in the Rugby Scrum, you see position. What does position mean? That they are getting ready, they are forming themselves. So in Scrum, team begin to form themselves, taking the position, whether you are highly experienced or whether you are fresh from college, all are coming together to work as a team. Engage means that the team is not ready to start off. It's like after the sprint planning, the team is now ready to execute the sprints. And then bowling is when, I mean, like we saw from the clip, is when the game has already started, right? So let's say there has been a foul and then they are restarting the game. So in Scrum, we have the daily stand-up. The daily stand-up is a 15 minutes time box meeting where the team kind of inspect and adapt to measure the progress of work in line or in sync with the sprint goal, right? So, and the referee, just like in rugby, kind of identifies the foul plays that is happening in the game. And also the same thing applies to Scrum, where the Scrum Master kind of tries to make sure that the Scrum team follow the right Scrum process. So it is not only that the Agile Scrum borrows the concept of Scrum from the Rugby Scrum, but at the same time, the Agile Scrum kind of borrows some practices and some activities that is happening or that's used to happen in the Rugby game, right? So you could see Scrum in other of the sports we have, like soccer or football, or even baseball or even basketball. Most people have been arguing how Scrum can be identified in each of these sports events that we have. So the main purpose of, you know, trying to draw your attention to the video or to the clip is a way for you to know that Scrum is not a complete word, is the abbreviation of the scrummage, and then it goes back again to restarting of the game in baseball when there is any violation. Okay, so now I'm going to play another video. In this video, the All Blacks rugby team of New Zealand, I mean, there is a ceremony that they used to perform, and that ceremony has a lot of information. So first of all, play the video, and then I'm going to, highlight key information that could be learned, or Scrum team could learn watching the video, or that evolves from the video.
And now the All Blacks just waiting for the French to peel off the tracksuits, stand in front of them and receive the challenge of the haka. challenge has been received by the French. Stand by, the Rugby World Cup final.
Okay, so watching that clip, could you identify, I mean, for people who are new to Scrum, you might not really catch the lessons that are embedded there, but for people who are already in the Scrum, or like Scrum practitioners already watching this video, there are a lot of information that is already embedded there. I'm going to walk us through in terms of what we could identify watching that haka ceremony or the dance, right? So, I mean, in that video, we can see the stomping, the clapping, the chanting of this all blacks Scrum rugby team. But in that event or that ceremony, there are a lot of things a lot of information that I embedded there. The first thing I was able to capture was intense focus on the goal. The goal of the All Blacks team was to threaten and at the same time to defeat their opponents, right? That dance is a kind of people who are kind of, going on a war, giving that chant as a way of threatening their enemy. Do you agree with me that that was, similar to what they were trying to do there? Okay. The second thing was about radical collaboration. You could see how their bodies and arms are kind of, locked together, right? Pushing for that first primary goal, right? I mean, you could see let's call him the leader, the guy that was kind of was heading that chanting, and then the other team were kind of following up, right? They understand the language. I don't know what the language is. So maybe if you do, you could always put that in the comment section and then let us know what you think about the language, or share with us what language that is. But there is that kind of team collaboration. We see that in Scrum, the agile Scrum. In Scrum, we encourage team collaboration, right? Even if you have 14 years experience, 20 years experience, and then you have someone, a team member who has 2 years experience or even right fresh from college, it is always team collaboration, pair programming, where two developers can work together, right? The second thing there was I could identify the hunger to crush. They were ready to devour their enemy, right? I could even feel it. I could feel the fear right in my heart. They were ready. And the fourth was that excitement. They were excited that, just imagine when you are hungry and then you have your favorite meal, right? There's this kind of excitement that now you are ready to devour, right? So these were the 4 lessons I could identify watching that hacker game. Okay. Yeah, I think that's basically what I thought I could share with us today about how the Agile Scrum kind of relates to the rugby game, right? The first video clip we watched was a way of trying to draw our attention to Scrum that we have today is not a full Scrum in terms of it is a scrummage borrowed from rugby. And the activities that do happen in the rugby game could be related to the Scrum. So sometimes most people don't know this historical information. I've had interaction or conversation with someone, and then I told him, we're kind of talking, and I said, "Oh, I'm a Scrum Master." He said, "Scrum Master? What is a Scrum Master?" I was like, "It's not about what is a Scrum Master, it's about who is a Scrum Master." I also made a video about that, trying to make that dichotomy between who and what, right? And I tried to explain the history behind Scrum. And I thought I could also share with you about that history on how the Agile, kind of borrows that concept of Scrum from that rugby. Okay, if you are new to Scrum and you are looking for a place to get Scrum lesson or Scrum class, visit www.ineedscrummaster.com. You'll be trained for 6 weeks. It's not about 3 days for people who said they they've learned Scrum in 3 days. I don't know. I wouldn't encourage you to do that. At ineedscrummaster.com, you'll be trained for 6 weeks. And the module of that training includes theory, practical, and hands-on experience about Scrum. Any Scrum Master would guide you from 0 to an advanced level, helping you, guiding you even when you take your certification exam, helping you to polish your resume, create and polish your LinkedIn and other websites like LinkedIn, Indeed, local police. There are other ways you can also create profile online to be seen by a recruiter or hiring companies. I need Scrum Master would also be with you 90 days after you get your Scrum job. I need Scrum Master is always available. So visit ineedscrummaster.com, or you could always leave a comment for me or email me at info@ineedscrummaster.com, and then we can be able to meet. So if you like my content, please, I would encourage you to hit the subscribe button there, like, share, tell your friends, right? If you're looking to break into IT, that you require zero coding and programming, Scrum Master might be the best bet for you. And I'm always here to help you in your Scrum and Agile journey. All right, that's where we're going to stop here for today. My name is John Bosco, but feel free to call me JB, and then I will see you again next time. All right, take care. Bye for now.